1160 and 101.1 FM. Log on to Facebook right now. Facebook, our website, the 1160 WCCS Facebook site. We're going live this morning with Christian Vaccaro from IUP. The MARTI conference is here. Christian Vaccaro is representing the MARTI conference with us here this morning. The summer conference, this has been a long time. This conference has been going on, hasn't it?
Yes, this is actually our 28th summer conference. Mm-hmm. The conference was started in 1988 with our founders of MARTI, Dr. Bob Ackerman, who, as of last year, has kind of finally retired from the conference circuit and is no longer officially part of MARTI, but is really part of the heart and soul of the summer conference with his focus on addiction and addiction recovery.
Good resource, huh?
Great man.
All right, so the 28th MARTI Summer Conference. Now, explain to people what MARTI is an acronym for.
MARTI stands for the Mid-Atlantic Research and Training Institute. Mm-hmm. Our focus is on several different aspects or facets of behavioral health, including training a wide variety of citizens to understand and be able to deal with the issue of addiction within their communities. We also do research in the area of families and family behavioral health, as well as we have a group of faculty that focus on veterans issues as well.
All right, so we want to talk about this conference. It's next week, Monday through Friday, and there's still time for people to sign up for this. And to let people know, there are continuing education credits available for this, correct?
Yes, if you are a counselor or a psychologist, a social worker, clergy, work in the field of juvenile justice, and or are a teacher, we have a wide variety of continuing education credits that we provide. And we really love this conference because it brings all of these folks together to be able to kind of interact with one another, learn from one another, and talk about how addiction is playing out for children and members of the religious community, members of the general community, poor folks, rich folks, and all of these different groups of people that these professionals deal with. Mm-hmm. And that's not always the case. Oftentimes conferences are for one profession only. And so that's one of the things that I think is really beneficial for attending MARTI.
And it's probably one of the reasons the MARTI conference is so well thought of. I mean, when you hear people talk about it, their comments are always positive, and one of the things about it is there's such a variety of topics and approaches to the subject of addiction. In recent years, of course, addiction around these parts has generally focused upon opioid, and that is such a major thing, and it affects every life, and that's reflected in the number and the variety of people who want to come to the MARTI conference.
Absolutely, Todd. Our region is one that has been, ravaged over the past 10 years by the epidemic of opioids. But I think that MARTI and its trainings has actually provided people within our region, like I said, psychologists and addiction recovery specialists, clergy members, et cetera, to be able to kind of battle this, this very terrible epidemic that we're experiencing. And we're starting to see some rays of light. And I'd like to think that the MARTI conference has something to do with that. On my way here this morning, I was really thinking about how this particular training is probably, in terms of the quality of speakers and the quality of training and the multidisciplinary aspect, is probably one of the best ones, not just in the region, but probably within the Northeast. Mm-hmm. And it's right here in Indiana, Pennsylvania, focused on getting folks that may not be able to travel to Pittsburgh or to New York or to Philadelphia to get these trainings, but it's the same quality and at a lower cost as well.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the conference itself and dig down a little bit on it. First of all, the parameters of the conference. It starts next Monday through next Friday.
Yes, it starts Monday, July 9th through Friday, July 13th. It runs from Typically about 8 in the morning is when the doors open, and we get our conference off to some morning sessions that have some really excellent keynote speakers each day. And then in the afternoons, we have breakout sessions with kind of multiple panels or presenters that you can go to get specific trainings if you're a teacher or an educator or interested in one particular topic or another. And so that's how we do it. And then at lunchtime, we also have wellness sessions. So we have a long lunch break where if you're interested, you can take part in a yoga session or Tai Chi or mindfulness. And we also have, since it's the IUP campus, availability for people to be able to walk or run the track. The co-director of MARTI plays basketball, and so he takes a contingent of people off to play lunch basketball every day.
Yeah?
Yes, he's an avid basketball player, a really healthy guy. And then we have the tennis courts open as well. So we want to mix in with education, also a way for people to be able to decompress during lunchtime with this very, very sometimes heavy topic.
Yeah. So the event will be at the College of Humanities and Social Sciences building, the new building right next to the library.
Yes.
And it's such a gorgeous facility, and it has so many advantages in having the event there. But sessions will begin in the morning, through lunch, and then back in the afternoon. And you're right. These topics are really heavy topics and so very important. And you need that lunchtime stress reliever, that steam, to be let off so that you can really focus on the afternoon sessions. And that's a great way to do it. David Hickton is coming. There's probably nobody that can speak more to the topic of opioids than David Hickton.
Yes, David Hickton, for your listeners who aren't familiar with the name, he was the former Attorney General for the Western District, and he's going to be talking about confronting the opioid epidemic. I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. I'm really excited for him to be able to give kind of the law enforcement and prosecutorial perspective of the addiction crisis. What are folks that are entering in to our justice system having in terms of recovery and what is hopeful and what is things that we have to work on as a community or as a nation to be able to help us through this crisis.
And he is just one of just a ton of experts that hit it from every angle. And not only opioids, but for instance, a national plan to end violence. That's your second program on Monday. The impact of trauma on children, dealing with highly resistant clients, setting the course for public well-being. Those are the Monday topics. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you've got more every single day, just flooding of the subject, if you will.
Yeah. So, the second speaker, Victor V., he is the founder of the National Child Protection and Training Center. And the reason why we're bringing him in is because, addiction isn't just about using drugs. It's about what happens to the family. It's about, what happens to the community. And so we've tried to bring in speakers that focus on things like the intersection of addiction and violence, the intersection of addiction and child abuse, what happens at the intersection of, addiction and crime. So we're trying to bring in a wide variety of speakers that can talk to not just addiction and addiction recovery, but what does it do to our communities? What does it do to our families? What does it do to our education system?
Yeah.
And I think that helps us build a more holistic picture about, opioids just beyond the using addict, and how to help and assist him or her, which is quite an important topic as well that we cover within the conference. But we try to go a little more broad with being able to think about and understand this crisis.
Christian Vaccaro is with us. The MARTI Conference, the 28th MARTI Summer Conference, is coming up at IUP starting next Monday through next Friday, July the 9th through the 13th. So very many important topics. We're touching on just a couple of them in the short time we have together. I'm looking at a wonderful brochure that discusses them even more, gives you profiles of each of the speakers. Obviously, I can't show this on Facebook Live and get everybody to read it. So I'm sure there's an online source available where folks can learn about this particular conference, all the topics. Is there an online version of what I'm holding in my hand right now?
Yes, you can download the brochure at www.iupcc.org. iup.edu/MARTI, MARTI, and there'll be a link to the conference page. It would be the MARTI Summer School Conference, and then on that page there's a link to download the brochure. There's contact information about registration, and also about scholarships, which, Todd, I wanted to inform your listening audience that we have 2 full scholarships that are still available that we'd like to be able to give away to your listeners. So if there are people out there who need continuing education credits, or if you're just a community member that is interested in the topic of addiction, we have 2 scholarships to support your registration fees for MARTI. That's a $425 value. If you call the Department of Sociology at IUP and ask for Miss Crystal Deemer, who is our secretary in the sociology department, as well as the heart and soul of MARTI. If you call her and let her know that you're interested in the scholarship, if it's still available, she'll be able to get you registered. And the phone number is 724-357-2730.
357-2730, and all you need to do is let them know that you heard Christian talking on the radio this morning and you're interested in those 2 scholarships. And boy, you're right. I mean, that is a tremendous thing to do, and you do it simply for the reason that you want to get people who want this training to be there at the conference and to take full advantage of it.
Absolutely. We want every community member to be trained in understanding addiction. My mother, she's 68 years old. She comes to MARTI every year, retired, and just comes to be informed about her community and what's going on. A week for some people is a long time. We have day rates available as well. So you can attend one day of the conference, or you can attend all 5 days of the conference if you're able to. And each day is just as good as the last. So there's lots to select from, and lots of wonderful and important programming that we're going to be providing next week.
So you have been at these for a number of years.
Yes, this is my 8th year in helping to organize and facilitate the MARTI conference, and I'm happy to say that this year I was given a promotion at MARTI, that I'm now the director of training.
Wow.
So I've been working hard at making sure that we offer top quality conferences and trainings through MARTI, and I'm going to continue to do that, hopefully, for years to come.
Take me back to some of those previous events. Friday comes, the last event is here and gone, and you've just gone through a whole week of MARTI conferences and seminars and experiences with others. You've heard all the perspectives and everything. How do you feel at the end of a week at a MARTI conference?
For me, I mean, and I think I share the sentiment of many people who attend the conference, I feel invigorated. To hear the stories, to hear the information from these speakers, and to get the trainings from them. I'm usually so excited to be able to get back, to the nitty-gritty of my research on addiction and kind of interfacing with these people throughout the year. But also for me, at the end of the conference, this is a year-long planning. So, we don't take a breath. After the conference is done, we're already, all right, what are we going to be doing for next year? How are we going to be, providing this type of programming to the community once again? So it takes us a full year of hard work to get something like this together. And so, we don't oftentimes have much of a chance to take a breath, but right at the end of the conference, I'm feeling really great, and I'm feeling optimistic about not just our community, but our nation.
He's Christian Vaccaro. You can watch him again on our Facebook page, and it's 357-2730. If you are interested in one of those 2 scholarships that they have available, you can call Crystal, 357-2730. To learn more about the MARTI conference, iup.edu/MARTI, MARTI, correct?
Yes.
Christian, thanks so much.
Thank you, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM, putting a wrap on the program.